Everybody, today I'm doing a frustration video on my 2006 Ford F150 ZX4. It's got the 5.4 Triton engine, non-flex, and so I'm doing some little projects. And first thing I was going to do, I hope you can see this okay, but I bought this used, so the fenders, looks like someone has tried to do some work on it and they didn't replace these things, body clips, pins, whatever you want to call them. And of course my Chilton book and even the Ford online, well, Ford online has them in their part numbers, and of course they want like $5 just for one of these, whereas you can get Dorman or different companies who actually make them for them, and get them for like, you know, $1.75 per pack of 6. The problem is that unlike other part numbers, they don't actually use the part numbers that the Ford or GM or whatever products use. And so I went to O'Reilly's, and they carry these, the Dormans, and so this one says Ford Mud Shield Push Pin Retainers, and it's got one part number, but it's got one part number. However, what it doesn't tell you is that when you open it, excuse my horrible camera work, when you actually open these, there's two different sizes in there, and the funny thing is that it neither fits where the mud flap goes or where any of the stuff in the area goes. So word to the wise, when you go, so, well, let me start by doing this. This is Ford, this is the front of the left side, and so Ford uses these screw-on ones here, which of course you can't get. And of course these are $10 a piece on Ford, not including the nut. So luckily that I don't have to replace those. The rest of them are more traditional kind of clip-ons. I should replace some of these, but I can't find them and not pay. These are $3. And on the bottom aspect, in the front, they use this weird size, which they didn't even have any close to it in Toyota or any of the other ones. And then this one, which the guy told me was the same size as this one, and I don't see so well, so I took him at his word, and it's actually not. Although the fins make it as wide, the shaft is not as thick, and so you can't get that into the hole. So I have to return these, and then these other ones don't even fit. So also I wanted to point this out as well. So on the front of that holds the headlight in, mine was missing the metal clip. It's kind of like this with a little like nut area in it, and of course the one they have on there is $15 for one. So what I did was I approximated with this metal clip and then bought the same 1/4 20 bolts. Now the mistake I made is that I had to push really hard to get this to catch, so I didn't see a 3/4 inch one, and I thought the 1 inch would be too long, but it actually isn't. So this actually compressed the plastic and it'll probably make it break sooner, so I'm going to take these back and get a longer one. So my problem is that this one is also a different size, and the one on the Ford catalog just calls it an HM2, but it doesn't give it a part number or anything like that. So of course, even with the Ford part number, it's hard to even find it on Amazon or anything like that. So the thing I highly recommend is if you call the parts dealership and ask them, you know, do you have a another, like, do you have a Dorman part number for that? And they'll not want to give it to you, because that means that you're going to not buy it from them and pay the ridiculous markup. So if you have the money to be able to go forward and pay their, you know, they're kind of like Apple, they want to force you to buy theirs. And while I have you here, so these are tools for removing these things, obviously. So I bought this kit. Both of these kits are from Harbor Freight, and I unfortunately do not recommend these for small ones. Even though this one's like made for smaller ones, the plastic gives, and it won't catch the smaller ones like this one. It won't catch it properly, and it actually pushes it. The plastic kind of gives and pushes forward, so it's really hard. So I actually had to get some flat needle nose or dikes. I don't know what else to call wire cutters. They've always called them dikes, but get it up under there gently and then rock it upwards to disengage it. But these are not as good as the metal one, which I lost my metal one in the move. So that's it. Just be very careful when you buy these, and always take an example with you and make them open the box, or ask them if you can open the box, because number one, why would you have one part number for different sizes? Because when I look it up on the Dorman, it actually just makes it seem like there's only one size in there, but obviously it's not. So just be careful, because yeah, you can take it back and you get a refund, but you got to pay the gas to go back there, and of course the annoyance of going back there and standing in their wonderful lines and stuff like that. So do that, and be very careful about buying them on Amazon, because trying to return something like this is going to end up costing you to get the right one, even if you think you know, it says it fits. If their database is wrong and they don't use the standard Ford part number, so be very careful about that as well. And that's it. So when you need one of these parts, it's better to just, now when I had a Jeep, the Jeep was very easy. I mean, Jeep, the older Jeep before Fiat bought them, it's like had one or two types of body clips for insides and out, and it was just, you know, they were the same ones that were used on like GMs and everybody else. So it was easy to find them, buy packets of them and that kind of thing. And they also have kits of these that are just like a bunch of sort of different sizes. Be careful about buying those, because it's an assortment, but it's an assortment from, if it says for Fords, it could be ones from 1960 to 2018. So half of it you may not even use. So you're thinking, oh, I'm $15 to get these, when you can only use one out of that and never able to use it on anything else. So definitely put in the little extra work of getting them to open it, and even take it out to your vehicle and test it. Or side-by-side comparison usually is pretty clear. and you always want to pay attention to the hard part in the middle, not the fins, because the fins give way, and the more the fins, the thinner the shaft, the better the traction that holds it in there. So remember, emotions are gifts you give yourself, and nobody can give them or take them away. And peace, guys.